Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Mad Marauders Barbecue. Now, this is the last of the wave. I waited to the end for this one because, frankly, I don't care about barbecue. Now, I do have the original barbecue, and frankly, he was actually an amazing figure for what barbecue was, but I never liked barbecue. I never liked tripwire. Anyone that's been following the channel probably has come to the conclusion I was pretty spoiled as a child, especially at least when it came to G.I. Joe. I had almost every single figure in the first few waves, but I never had barbecue and I never had tripwire. And it wasn't because my dad and my mom wouldn't buy them for me, it's that I didn't want them. I never had an urge to get them. So I clearly do not have the Marauders barbecue, but I picked this one up. I'm gonna review it. I didn't even bring up the barbecue to compare it. I don't have the O-ring, so no comparison. We're just gonna look at it, take a look at the paint apps. Hopefully, this is one of the decent ones in the line. So, in the wave. If you've been following the channel, you've seen I've done all 5, and there seems to have been issues with every single figure in the wave with something, whether it be weapons, broken arms, bad face sculpts, or loose necks, something. So anyway, let's get into this here. So the artwork does look absolutely awesome. I actually do like the colors. Now, again, they've changed it to Mad Marauders, deviating from Slaughter's Marauders, and probably because if Sergeant Slaughter's deal runs out and, you know, they have an issue with the trademark, they don't even have to worry about fighting. So we probably will get a Sergeant Slaughter as a Mad Marauder. But again, Sergeant Slaughter, a character I never really cared for because, once again, he turned his back on Hulk Hogan and the USA, and he was made out to be a hero when he wasn't. He even tried to hold down DX. He tried to hold down DX, the greatest faction in professional wrestling. Yes, better than the NWO because Shawn Michaels is better than the rest of the wrestlers. I'm getting off track. Anyway, here he is. The plastic-free packaging, as I mentioned before. The figure's gonna be like right over here, right over here. All you have to do, Hasbro, put a window here. We can see the figure. I actually like the way the figure is packed, to be honest. It comes out and pops out super easy. But hey, you know what? Put a window here. People can see if an arm is broken. Paint apps look off. If the figure just looks awful. Anyway, here we are. Number 58. The file card I mentioned it numerous times. There's a YouTube channel, I'm sure, that goes over the file cards. Or there's a YouTube channel that has a place to download file cards. A matter of fact, Toy Habits has some file cards that you can get. Not sure how they did them, and I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not sure they've updated it in a while, but I could be completely wrong. There's a lot of figures that are out now. On the back here is what we have, what the figure looks like. We just have to take Hasbro's word that this is what it looks like, but we've already seen the first one, so we can probably rest assured this one will be that one. Again, I do like the fact that it tells you how tall they are, the actual figure. So this figure is 6.47 inches tall. All right, and here's everything that he comes with. Again, nice looking package, but we don't know what's actually in it. So let's open it up, find out. Shaking it, I don't know. It doesn't sound like Rattler, but who knows? No one knows. No one knows because we can't see it. All right, so here you have it, and I will open it up so no one calls me a liar, stating that, well, how do we know the figure was broken? Just stop it, because, well, again, it makes so much sense for me to break a figure on purpose on a line that I want to purchase. That makes total sense. So anyway, there's our box. Put it to the side. There's our barbecue. And honestly, as much as I don't care for the Mad Marauders, the Slaughter's Marauders, the color really does work. But again, do we need a firefighter in the G.I. Joe line? I don't really think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why the military has firefighters. I'm not saying they're not needed. But I kind of want to play with Army. And they don't even come with weapons. Or he doesn't. but we're going to resolve that. So, there he is, right away. He's kind of standing there. Gonna push him back there. And then here is the weapons locker. And as I've mentioned, on every single time that I've had one of this, wonderful idea, poor execution. Handles are way too big. They're made for a 12-inch figure, if not even bigger. You have your little keypad, it tells you who it is. And then we have the G.I. Joe Cobra bag. Now, I will say this again, I mentioned this before. The G.I. Joe team's doing a nice job, better than Marvel or Star Wars, where they give you, like, the G.I. Joe background or the Cobra background. That's all cool and well and dandy, but of course, if there was just a window where we could see the figure, we'd know what we're getting. Then they put some work into the bag or whatever. But here is another gripe of mine. We were specifically told that to keep the weapons from warping, they would have cardboard around them so they wouldn't warp. Now, these ones here, I believe, are going to be a little bit harder, so we'll quickly take a look at it. This is his small axe, and it's straight. It's got some kind of weapons at the front. I like that. The paint looks good. The axe blade is painted, so I like that. That looks good. Here's our second axe, and again, there it is. You can see the warpature on it. It's not awful. It can be fixed because you just have to heat it up and then cool it down by straightening it. But again, things that we shouldn't have to do. And the issue is not so much that there's a small warpature. It's the fact that there's so many QC issues happening with Hasbro right now. So, I like the axe. It's silver. It pops with the black. So, I do like the way that it looks. And then here we have his gun, his flame retardant gun, I guess you would call it, to extinguish the fires. And it looks pretty straight. No apps on it. It's just pure black, and I'm fine with that. I don't think we really need anything too fancy with that. Here's his backpack with the different types of flame retardants that he's going to use. Now, I will say this. I want to say this one broke on my other one when it fell. So, this can be kind of brittle. This just fell right off my display and hit, and it just snapped right off. Try not to let stuff fall like that. This is a harder plastic. It definitely does feel compared to some of the other things. And then we have the hose that connects it, which is nice. It's nice and long, and that's what she said. I believe I said that. Actually, I can. So, let's take a look at the Mad Marauder, Slaughter Marauder Barbecue. Alright, so, I forget what body he's used. He's not using pinless joints now. But again, this is one of the wonderful things that toy lines can do. Hasbro does it. Valorverse does it. A lot of these toy lines, I mean, Mattel's been doing it with He-Man for years, is you use the same buck. For the most part, you may interchange arms, legs, boots, and then you put an overlay on it, and you have a completely new figure, and you don't even realize. If you're not into the toy, like really into the toy industry or the toy community, you probably don't even notice. So, he does have drop-down hips, which with these things, straps are up way too high, so it's causing a problem. So, I definitely have to pull those down. He has a beautiful Jean-Claude Van Damme there, and that's the way you want to get these drop-down hips. Again, not a big fan of them because eventually they break. Again, no pinless joints there. Let's see. He can kick his butt, which, as I mentioned before, a lot of the other figures, they're not getting this range of motion, which I'm okay with. Again, I don't think my knee can go up that far anymore, especially now that I've gotten older. There you have your thigh swivel, your boot cut, your ankle rocker. And I'm able to get this guy, at least I was. I don't have him in that same display right now. Walking down steps without a problem. He never falls. Again, all the people that kind of complain, there's your thigh swivel. All the people that complain that you need stands for figures and this and that. You know, just learn how to pose your figures. Really. Some of them I understand. You do have a problem. If they have small feet, you're going to have a problem. There's your T-pose. The overlay really doesn't get in the way. There you have your double bicep. No issues there, but the biceps are so big. And bicep swivel there. There you go. And then you have all this stuff. I can go on. I've gone over so many of these G.I. Joes. Do I need to continue? Head goes up and down. He looks up a little bit. So, for someone who's not a fan of barbecue, I gotta say this. The figure is a really nice sculpt, a nice figure. Now, I think it's a lot easier for companies, whether it be Hasbro or Mattel, Valaverse, or whoever, to make head sculpts that are not faces. And, sorry, I'm just trying to pull this down so it's not really obstructing while I do this stuff. It's just easier because you have nice solid lines. You don't have people complaining that CoverGirl is, you know, too hard in the jaw and that Falcon is too soft in the face. But then you have a wonderful face sculpt here, like our Outback, and then you have a wonderful head sculpt of the bats, which you can see that look absolutely awesome. So let's look at everything here. So quickly looking at the paint here, I don't see any issues on the helmet. It's got a blue helmet. It's got the silver mask and the black visor, along with an air vent that runs across, painted black. Again, it looks really nice. Nothing bleeding. There you have the chest piece, which has black painted across it. I can't think of the name of what this is called, but the air vent or whatever, the breathing apparatus is painted black. No issues. I'm not sure what these are. They almost look like they're ammunition magazines. I don't want to say clip and upset anyone, but I'm not sure what they are. I don't believe they are, since he comes with absolutely no sidearms or anything like that. And then you have pieces here that hold on. The small axe, the piece for his hose gun. Coming running down here, paint all looks good. Now this is where pinned joints really become a problem. And that is when you have this blue across here, but the pin is painted black. Now you should have just painted that blue on the inside, on the outside. Here, it should have been this brown rather than black. They just left the pins the same, you know, just black color, and it is the same up here. And that makes absolutely no sense. Why don't you paint those to go with it? That's just being lazy. That's just throwing out a figure, unfortunately. But there's no bleeding on the paint apps from what I can tell. Up here, I got a little bit of a scuff maybe. I just wiped right off, so probably something from rubbing against the back of the box. Other than that, everything looks really nice on this figure. And here now you can kind of have you can create a brigade of firefighters. Obviously take off their heads, put on different heads, have them holding the mask, so you don't just have the exact same figure. Why is that bent like that? Oh well. Doesn't really affect anything, but looks like his neck piece isn't in straight. So I can turn it. Alright. Yeah, I don't know why it really does that. It doesn't really affect anything all that much. Not with the overlay on him. Alright, so here we have Barbecue. Take his backpack. Snap the hose on here. Ooh, that is soft. I remember the other one being that soft. Maybe I just tried to throw this thing on way too quickly. So I like the way the hose sets. Plugs into his back. Again, I think the figure looks really nice. And I think the other Barbecue looked really nice. Honestly, I like this Barbecue more. Maybe just because I dislike barbecue so much as a kid. But I think they both look really nice. But now you kind of have a nice army of them. Or a brigade of them. I don't want to say an army of them, because you really need an army of firefighters. Yeah, someone would tell me, yes, you do. But you don't when you're playing with toys. So here we have everything that kind of sets on him. All right, and this here, you fold this on here, and you flip it over like that. That way it stays on. So he does not have a weapon. You're asking this guy to go in, fight fires, but don't have any weapons, right? This needs to be pushed in a spot. I know this is awesome to watch, isn't it, guys? But hey, you guys came here for this. Anyway, I'll have to heat this up and move those to where I want. So I looked at this figure and I gave him, I think, the Maxim 9 from Marauders that some people don't really like, but it's a big gun. It fits him. And I thought, wow, I have a weapon that would work. This guy's going into fighters, right? This guy's going into fires, right? In combat. So he's got to knock down some doors. So you know what might be a good weapon for him? Is an automatic shotgun. So you can basically just blow off the handle of a door, right? And you still have this to go up against anyone that may be coming at you, you know, while the Joes are off doing, you know, missions and stuff, or while they're not paying attention to you because they're like, hey, everyone, leave the firefighter alone. He's good. So I decided that this would be a pretty nice weapon for him. And honestly, the black and the silver match pretty nicely. So there you go. If you have the Marauders Action Force Weapons Pack Delta, you now have an actual weapon for your Mad Marauders, Slaughter Marauders barbecue. All right, I think that's enough of barbecue. Let's wrap it up. All right, so there you have it. That is the Mad Marauders barbecue, now with a shotgun that he can use to blow off doors that are maybe fires breaking out or just need to break in, and also defend himself while fighting a fire, also fighting Cobra. I mean, what an awesome thing to be doing. I can only imagine fighting a terrorist group and they're like, hey, you, go put out the fire. And the guy's like, I don't have any weapons. Dude, just go put out the fire. Don't worry about it. We'll cover you. And he's like, they're in... Whatever. I do like the color scheme. I think it really looks nice. And to be honest, so far looking at this, well, you know what? I don't really have an issue with my Outback. But I think this one really does pop. And again, it was already fit. It was already done. So they just had to repaint it. The mold was pretty good to begin with. So there you go. That is your Slaughter Marauders, Mad Marauders barbecue, now with shotgun. Again, if you're wondering, this is a Marauders Action Force Weapons Pack Delta. I believe you can still get it. It's like 13, 14 bucks. And you can get on BBTS, I'm sure. Really, the barbecue and breaker and the first wave of figures is almost the reason why we're buying weapons from other companies, because they don't have any. But they've given us so many now with the different Snake Eyes packs, and where we have some extra weapons. I have so many weapons I don't know what to do with anymore. But they make new weapons pack. I like weapons. Anyway, there you go. Now I'm going to do some pictures with him, do some thumbnails, and wrap it up. So, it's been a long few days. Lots of stuff. If you're following the channel, you've seen the Motu stuff that's come out. All this wave of G.I. Joe. It's been an exhausting few days for me. So, but hey, luckily, it's still winter. I don't really want to be outside here in Michigan because there's nothing to do when it's cold. So I'm gonna get out of here. Again, before I finish, take a second. Jump onto Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, A Punk with Toys. That's where you're gonna find me, and the Facebook group, Punks with Toys. Because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And I did forget to mention at the beginning, but if you like the content, if you're enjoying everything that I do, everything that I put out, subscribe to the channel. it helps out. Like the video, it helps the analytics, and again, everything that I'm doing, it shows that, hey, you know what, you guys are really enjoying the content, and it tells YouTube push this out and hit the bell notification, so you are notified every time I drop a new G.I. Joe video. But you've just been notified of 5 in a row every single day, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're like, oh my god, another G.I. Joe. But you don't have to worry about that for a while, because we don't know when the next wave is going to come. I don't know when my Walmart exclusive retro cards are coming. I paid for them. I use PayPal. Walmart takes it, and then I just sit there, and it's like a crowdfunding. I'm crowdfunding something that will probably come in with bad cards, whatever. I'm gonna get out of here. I've talked down long enough. Listen, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't leave. Up here, there's a playlist for all the classified videos. I'm sure you're gonna like it. And then, watch this video. It'll probably be the bat with the bobblehead. I'm out of here. Have a wonderful day.